Are we all recording?
See.
Mom, go away. I'm recording a podcast. Recording a podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Verified Podcast. My name is Shane.
My name's Carlos.
Today we have something a little unexpected, folks. Something that honestly we didn't even plan for going into this. But today we're gonna be talking about philosophy. We're gonna be talking about the future. We're gonna be talking about technology. Everyone, please welcome to the show, Alex. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good. What have y'all ever thought about in terms of philosophy? Here's something I've thought about. Change is very interesting to me. Remember, okay, you guys played Fortnite in 2018, 2017.
I played season
the
one.
the greatest modern day example of change, folks.
It is. It really is.
Oh yeah.
So you remember playing it in late 2017, summer of
course.
Like
2018.
when it first came out. Is that what,
Right,
season-
exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Really good memories, right? Wasn't it just
Season one
the
Fortnite.
most fun game you've ever played? Like top two.
Personally,
three?
it wasn't for me.
Without a
It was
doubt.
it was amazing. It was so fun. Months go by, things change. Now the game is completely different. It's like a brand new game. And
Right.
if you were to play right now, you'd be like, "What is this? What is this?" So
what the hell is going on? I don't even know this shit, man.
I watched a video of like late 2017 Fortnite, and it was just it gave me grief. I literally felt grief and then nostalgia. Like, what's the evolutionary purpose of nostalgia? I don't think there is one. I think it's just based on human consciousness and human like emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, consciousness. That's another thing I find really interesting.
Let's go. We're going full.
Spitfire.
Be more specific.
Let's
Spitfire.
go. Let's dive in.
Do you think there's aliens out there that are conscious?
Well, what do you define as
What is
consciousness? That's the
consciousness?
thing.
Without a doubt.
What is consciousness? What do you think consciousness is?
Active mindfulness.
Acknowledge your own sentience, like question the things of other sentience. I think for something to be conscious, I think it has to be able to understand its own mortality.
In short, I know it sounds stupid, but that's why I want to be an astrophysicist. Like, unanswered questions. The only way.
In space, right?
Yeah, like I want to be the first one there when we colonize the moon. I want to be the first one there when we do interplanetary space flight. There's a geneticist that said the first person to live to 1,000 years old is alive right now. Which
I heard
probably,
that.
I don't think that's.
Wait,
I bet you.
1,000?
Yeah, I bet you that's not true.
I heard it was 100.
I heard 150. Yeah. 1,000 maybe.
Nah, he said 1,000. I
Okay.
bet you the only way that'd be possible is with cryo, freezing them. I saw this thing on my phone a couple days ago. And this was more like legit than the geneticist thing, like an actual astrophysicist guy at a university. Basically, it talks about, do you know what the Fermi Paradox is? It's the fact that there's such a high chance that extraterrestrial intelligent life exists because of how massive the universe is, yet we haven't seen any evidence of it at all. It's a paradox. We should have seen evidence if it existed, but we haven't. And there's multiple reasons, or there's multiple explanations that could possibly answer this, but one of them is that intelligent life actually exists at the subatomic scale. Like it's tiny. Like it's almost like Horton Hears a Who. Like they're subatomic. Like the intelligent life is subatomic. Their technology reached a point where they could turn themselves so small. Like it sounds nuts, but there's actually like a viable explanation that could make it possible. It's actually insane. Australian AI researcher Hugo de Garis, and he said that hyper-intelligences that are billions of years older than us in our universe have probably downgraded themselves to achieve hugely greater performance levels. Whole civilizations may be living inside of volumes the size of nucleons or smaller. A civilization that existed for 2 billion years could have downgraded themselves to the size of a nucleon.
So it's so small and the universe is so massive that it's virtually impossible that we'd ever see signs of anything.
Well, that's not necessarily true. There's a very low chance in that tiny amount of time compared to how long the universe has existed, which is 14 billion years. There's an absolutely tiny chance that we see any evidence of intelligent life. But if we were around for, let's say, 1 billion, that there's a pretty good chance we'd see evidence of intelligent life because of how advanced civilization probably would have gone. There's so many theories that say civilization would collapse on itself once it reaches a certain point of technology. Like for us, it'll probably be it could be 1,000 years, it could be 500 years, it could be 2 million years. No one really knows. but it's very likely that once we reach a certain point of technological advancement, we would collapse on ourselves, like nuclear war, for example. Like that's imminent. That could
example.
happen. That could happen today.
Personally, for me, I know a lot of people freak out when they hear the aspect of them having 24/7 surveillance of companies collecting cookies and information from what they do. Honestly, I couldn't care less because,
I have
like,
nothing to hide.
yeah, I don't know, Shane. What do you think? Do you care? Would you care?
It's
Do I
national,
care if I know?
widespread surveillance.
I feel like it's not the collection of data that's the issue. It's how they use it. It just depends on perspective because I mean, I look at it more of like an ad standpoint or like a marketing standpoint, not necessarily as like a creepy stalker standpoint, right? You know, if you look at like targeted ads and stuff, I think that's necessary to a certain extent.
I like targeted ads. I like seeing
But
relevant things on my computer screen if they
yeah,
show
I
up at all.
do. I never really did understand. I never really thought about it really, like why people get so freaked out by them talking about Oreos and then them going on Facebook and seeing ads for Oreos. Like,
That freaks me out. That
you
freaks me
think?
out. It freaks me out when my phone is off and I talk about something and it pops up the next day because that means they're listening to me even when my phone is off,
Oh,
which
yeah, that it's like,
that's
but it's like, what are they
extreme
gonna do with
surveillance.
that? They gave you an ad, sure, but it's like,
The
okay,
argument from a lot of people, it's a breach on the Constitution. It's a breach on your civil liberties.
okay, that I can
So
get with.
so you should have privacy. You shouldn't be surveilled
Hmm.
24/7, even especially when your phone is off, when your computer's off, when nothing should be listening to you. Yet
Hmm.
some national security administration is back there with their superhuman AI listening in on every single thing you do.
It looks like Alex is looking to buy a new pair of Air Force Ones.
I don't even have a pair of Air Force Ones. Speaking of that, do you guys want to talk about shoes?
Wonder why we're talking about shoes. It's because that was the original focus that I thought we'd run with. But Alex informed us that he's more of a
Spaceman.
he's a deeper person than he seems like. All right. I saw a clip recently. Elon Musk was being interviewed by someone. The interviewer was like, "How do you feel about all these like
Buzz
famous
Aldrin.
astronauts?"
Yeah.
Yeah, all like saying like that they don't like what you're doing because it's space flight is not something that should be commercialized. And he literally started tearing up. He almost started crying. And I was like, dude, like this is upsetting because he was like these are people I looked up to. Like these people are the reason I'm doing this. And then the interviewer was like, "Oh, were you hoping they'd be on board?" And he was like, "Yeah, I mean yeah, that was kind of like what I thought would happen. But I think what he's doing is pretty cool from my ignorant standpoint. Yeah, guys, Elon
Kinda
Musk, he's a
dope.
pretty cool dude. He's a pretty cool dude. That's what I can say about him. If I ever get the money, I'm gonna have to buy a Tesla."
As of now, Tesla cars kind of suck. Straight
Tesla
up,
cars kind of suck.
when you go from producing 5,000 cars a year to producing up to maybe 100,000 cars a year, I don't know the exact numbers, but they're a massive jump in manufacturing. You have a lot of headaches and a lot of hiccups along the way. Compared to a Honda, a company that has a well-established way to manufacture cars,
Yeah, I
an
know what you mean.
engine. Yeah, it's just we're not 100% there yet in Tesla. Like,
No,
What are you, a
100%.
Tesla expert? I think in 200 years, 300 years, Elon Musk and Kanye West are going to be recognized as the two most. Okay, Kanye West will be the best musician of his era, and I think Elon Musk will be the. I ride Kanye a little too much. I understand it, but anyway, Elon Musk. I mean, think about what he's doing: self-driving cars, commercial spaceflight. The two things that are really driving us into the future. Like he is the future. He is technologically advancing us into the future.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's podcast episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. I know it was a little different, a little deep. We're recording this kind of late at night, so I think we thought we got a little deep there. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want, go ahead and follow us on all your favorite podcast listening platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. You can
And follow
check us
me.
out on Instagram at The Verified Podcast. And
Alex.
check us out on YouTube. We're called The Verified Podcast on YouTube as well. Alex, thank you so much for being here, man.
Follow my Instagram. It's gak.
That'll be in our description. You guys will check it out on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening once again, and we'll see you guys later.
Mom, go away. I'm recording a podcast. Recording a podcast.
Good times.
All right, perfect.